Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hair Mergency with me, live Alexander, come directly to you to give you today's edition of what to do when you've got a hair situation. What do you do when you've got a hair situation? Explicitly, what do you do when you have a hair UltraStrand situation? How to move forward. And I hope that you enjoy the next 30 minutes that you have with me today as I take you through our first session. Now, in case you don't already know, my name is Clara Alexander and I am the ambassador for UltraStrands. Basically, that means I talk everything UltraStrands in this forum, and I give you sufficient information so that you can make an informed decision. So whether you're thinking of coming on board with UltraStrands as the solution for you, or you know somebody that UltraStrand could work for, or you're actually not really that interested in UltraStrand, but you've got a hair situation and you're looking for some sort of advice or a network or people that can group together to kind of support, then this is the place to be. But today I am talking about situations. You all know what it's like when you get into a situation and your whole world falls apart. And the question is, what do you do when you're in that situation? And today, the very first one that we're going to do today is talk about prevention is way better than cure. So you've all heard it before. We'd rather prevent the situation if we could than have to fix it later. So I'm going to be taking you through some of the things that you can do to help you prevent the situation from occurring in the first place. Let's see how we go. So I'm just going to work my magic and I'm going to move my slides around, and hopefully technology is not going to fail me today. Nope, I think we are on schedule. So as I said before, prevention is better than cure. I'm just going to pop myself in the corner because I'm sure you don't really want to see me, but you want to see or listen or watch everything I've got to share with you today. So prevention is better than cure. Have you seen this photo? Have you seen this video? The question that I've got to ask is there a way in which we could have prevented this? Is there a way in which she could have prevented having to pick up the phone to her hairdresser and say, I am in a mess. This volumizer that you've installed on my hair is suddenly in a mess and it's not playing ball. Now, there are some things that you can do, and today I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of the kind of things that you really need to be putting in place and ensuring that you have so that we at least don't end up like that photo. So here goes. I talk about, firstly, the night before, the morning after. And the reason why I'm bringing this as the first slide is because on the very day when you've got UltraStrands installed, it's going to look perfect. You're not going to walk out of your clinic or the salon looking anything less than perfect. It's going to look wonderful. You're going to feel wonderful. You're going to be on top of the world, ready to take on the world. Now, the problem is between you taking on the world and the following day is the night before. So you've got to get through one night of wearing UltraStrands and making sure that you wear it in such a way that when you wake up the following day, you're good to go. So not like how this lady is wearing her UltraStrand, because that's not gonna help you. So if you are not doing certain steps, you're gonna wake up in the morning and you're gonna feel that everything has gone upside down. So the first thing I want to let you know is that you got to brush your hair. If you're not used to brushing your hair, this is the time when you've got to brush your hair. And before you go to bed, make sure that that is the first thing that you do. Brush your hair. Now, if you've not already watched the videos that I've done on how to brush your UltraStrands, I suggest you go ahead and watch that video, because that's going to help you understand exactly how you brush your hair. Now, once you've brushed it, then you need to secure it. And depending on how long your hair is going to determine how you're going to secure it. So if you've got long hair, I'd just say put it in a nice bun, in a small ponytail towards the side. Or if you've got shorter hair, then you can kind of like flatten it down against against your head in the direction that you would want it to be. So for instance, if you've got a center parting, then just part the hair in the center as you normally would, and then flatten it out down the sides of your hair and put clips to just pull to keep it in place. If on the other hand you've got a side parting, then do the same. Always put your hair in the manner and the way in which you want to wake up. So, you know, it's not a case of just going to bed and just sleeping how you would normally want to sleep. You got to put some things in place. And those are the first two things that you need to do. The third thing is you got to cover your hair. And I know some of you are going, oh my gosh, Clara, I am not wearing a hat next to my husband. It is not going to happen. But I don't know how to say this in any other way other than you're going to have to cover your hair. And the reason why you're going to have to cover your hair is that it keeps it intact. You don't have to have something that is like way over the top. Like, you know, I know those granny hats. You don't have to have a granny hat. You could have what we call, you know, have you ever seen those do-rags? You can have a do-rag which you nicely put on and tie on your head. Or there are some really funky headscarves that you can have. One thing that I would say is make sure it's silk. Don't go for something cotton because that can rub against your head. Make sure whatever you're doing, get a silk version of it because that is going to do you wonders. So the three things that you're going to have to do the night before, the morning after, brush your hair, secure it in place, and then cover it. Then what do we do next? I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do next. You need to have a good night's sleep so that you wake up looking like Jennifer Aniston. Well, maybe not exactly like Jennifer Aniston, but at least you're going to wake up with less to do. That's the objective of this. This is about you not having to do as much work the following morning. And if you can get yourself waking up and looking like Jennifer Aniston, then hey, that's great for you. But if you can't, then at least let's have less to do. Let's not be trying to sort our hair out with, you know, that's going to take you an hour or something along those lines to get your hair sorted out when we could have just done it in 10 minutes. So what I said before is make sure brush, secure, cover. Have a great night's sleep, wake up the next morning, and you should have less to do. The next thing, what do you do the morning after the night before? So this is the next day when you've woken up in the morning, you've had your shower, you've done all these things, and you're ready to tackle your hair. Again, when you get up in the morning, brush your hair. Brush. You know, you're probably going to hear me say brush a lot of times because that is the secret to UltraStrands. And again, if you've not watched the video, head on, go watch the video because you can't use any type of brush. If you try to use brushes that are not going to work with it, then you're going to have a problem. So make sure you use the right brush and make sure when you're using the right brush, you brush it in the right way. The right brush in the right way gives you a happy day, okay? So once you've brushed your hair, literally style it and go. You don't have to do much. Style it, put it in pigtails, put some loose curls in, put it up in a nice, you know, loose bun, whatever you want to do, style and go. And that should maintain you. One thing I do want to stress, because I've seen this happen time and time again, and I'm going to stress this to you. Don't mess with your hair. Once you've got it in place, don't mess with your hair. So many people, and I get it. With UltraStrands, you can put your fingers through your hair. And you know what? I am so looking forward to getting my UltraStrands because I know all the things that I'm telling you now, it's going to be a challenge for me. But I know if I want to keep the UltraStrands looking as wonderful as possible for as long as possible, I'm going to have to stick with the things that I'm asking you to stick with. Don't mess with your hair. Don't put your fingers through your hair all the time. Don't be ruffling it up all the time. Leave it as much as you possibly can. I'm not saying don't touch your hair because you know what? Hey, hair is there to be touched. I'm not saying don't get your partner to run his fingers through your hair. I'm not saying any of that, but as much as possible, try not to mess with your hair. Don't be doing some heavy metal back and forth and things like that. Try as much as possible to leave your hair in the condition as you did when you got up and you left the house in the morning ready to go to work. So reduce the amount of finger pushing through and tousling and all of that kind of stuff as much as possible, so that you are maintaining your style and you're maintaining your hair. And one of the key reasons as to why I'm saying don't mess with your hair is really because the way the volumizer is constructed is that the hair is on a pivot, and the more you move your hair from left to right, up and down, the hair strand is moving on that pivot. And if you continuously do that on a continuous basis so often, what will happen is that that hair will snap and it will cause you to lose hair a lot quicker. We're trying to ensure that you maintain the hair for as long as possible, and in order for you to do that, try not to mess with it. I kid you not, majority of the clients that I have got that I look at and I marvel at how pristine their volumizer is, and I ask the question, how come your volumizer has lasted you so long? The answer I get is, I don't mess with it. I literally do not mess with my hair. I get up in the morning, I brush it, I style it, I go, and I try as much as possible not to mess with my hair. If it can work for them, it can definitely work for you. That is the secret to ensuring that your volumizer lasts you for as long as possible. I would say, if you haven't already done so, if this is your very first time you're washing your hair, I would say book in with the salon and have your first wash done there. The reason being is because they are going to be able to show you how to wash your hair properly. They will also be able to catch any issues that might occur. I'm not saying that there will be, but you never know. We don't live in a perfect world, and sometimes you might wash your hair and something happens that you're not expecting to happen. If you're there with the salon or where you're the clinic where it was installed, then they can catch all of those things. The other thing is that, if you wash your hair and there's needs to be a couple of maybe beads or knots that need to be tightened or redone, they can be done there and then without you having to pay any extra. Okay, but anyway, if you are not going to a salon to do your first wash, then these are the things that you need to do. Again, can you guess? Brush your hair. Yes, brush your hair. Brush your hair before you go into the shower. Then once you've brushed your hair, make sure you brush your hair in the way in which I've taught you in a previous video. Don't brush your hair the way you think that you should brush it. If you haven't watched the video, I keep urging you, and I keep urging it. I'm not going to stop stressing. Brush it in the way in which I've shown on that video, because it will honestly do you wonders. And some of you are probably saying, Clara, I've heard. Why do you keep saying this? I keep saying this because I find so many times I say to clients, do this, and they do the exact opposite. So if you haven't watched the video, watch the video, and if you've watched it, watch it again and again and again and again, so that you're making sure that you're brushing your hair the right way. Once you've brushed your hair, then section it. Depending on how long your hair will determine how many sections you can have, varying from 2 sections to 4 sections. If you're doing 2 sections, then you just want to section your hair from front to back. If you're doing 4 sections, you want to section your hair from front to back, side to side. And you're going to work with those sections section by section. So what you're going to then do is put, and I'm going to take my name off there because I've just realized that my name is, yeah, my name is in the way and you already know who I am. So then what you're going to do is take section by section and you're going to put shampoo on it. So you take one section, say you've done a section, left section, right section. You then put shampoo on it, obviously with water as well, so not just dry shampoo, water and shampoo, and then you shampoo the hair the manner and the way in which you would want to. Now, when I'm saying the manner and the way in which you want to, there's a caveat to that. You do not go scrubbing like this. You do not go like this. You go quite softly and you grab your hair and you massage. Yeah, give your hair a massage. So if you're going from one side, you massage at the roots, and then what you then do is you take your hair and you wash all the way through to the end. Wash all the way through to the end in that direction, all the way through to the end. Once you're comfortable that you've washed it okay, then you then wet it to drain all the shampoo, and then you squeeze. Slight squeezing so as to drain the water out. The key is to drain the water out. Reason being is because water is going to add a level of heaviness to your volumizer, and you're going to feel this amount of tension on your hair, not because it's causing any damage or anything, but just because the volumizer is not your own hair. It's attached onto your own hair, and water has got weight to it. And when you add water onto the volumizer is going to soak up the water, and it's going to feel heavier. So the quicker that you can drain the hair from the volumizer, the better and the easier for you. Once you've done that on the one side, then go and do exactly the same thing on the other side as well. And then once both of them are done, then you know you can do the same with your conditioner. So you first of all do shampoo, shampoo, then you go condition, condition. If you're doing 4, shampoo, 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 condition, 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 condition. Sounds like a dance, right? Shampoo, 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 condition, 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 condition. Anyway, so essentially that's what you need to do. So make sure that you do it in that manner. And then if you then needed at that point to put water all over your hair, you can then do that and then drain it in one sweep. So the key thing is about sectioning. Now, once you've done the shampoo, let's now look at the detangling process. So in some scenarios, what you have is once you put shampoo on, because you know shampoo strips out oils and strips out moisture, and it strips out nutrients, it strips out quite a few things, and we need to put that back in, and that's what the conditioner does. But the other thing that the conditioner does as well is it helps to get rid of any tangles. So if you've got tangles that you need to sort out, this is the time to sort them out. Again, have your hair in sections. If you are doing if you've got shorter hair, 2 sections, left and right. Longer hair, 4 sections, left and right, front and back. So, and then you put conditioner on it. So you put conditioner again, section by section. So when you're putting the conditioner on, at this point in time, you don't necessarily need water because your hair is already wet. Put your conditioner on section by section and gently comb through. So you comb through from the base of your hair, slightly, bit by bit, section by section, all the way through to the edge. If you find that you've got to a point where it's tugging, then you literally need to unloosen the knots. So don't go just tugging it all the way through because you're thinking, I've got to, get my hair combed out. You're gently going to go through the process and you're gently going to detangle it. Now, the conditioner helps to detangle your hair as well, which is why you need to do it with conditioner. If you find that you haven't put enough conditioner, then just put some more conditioner until you can literally comb your hair through from root all the way through to the tips. And you do that in a couple of swoops, going from root to tip. If you start to find, for instance, that going from root to tip is not working, then start from the tip and gradually work your way upwards, because sometimes it's actually down at the bottom that you've got the knots and you need to get rid of those knots at that point in order for you to be able to get all the way through to the top. So I'm just going to repeat that again. If it's a scenario that you've only got a few tangles in there, then go from root to tip. If you're finding that is difficult, then go from tip to root, untangling as you go away until you can get to a position where you can go from root to tip. Again, you want to, once you've done the conditioner in there, you want to get some water on, drain the water out, and then go to another section. So you're doing this section by section. You may be sitting there at this point in time thinking this is going to take forever. I kid you not, 5 minutes max, you will be in and out. It does not take you long to do this process. The way I'm explaining it to you, it might seem that it's going to take forever, but it doesn't take forever. By the time you've done the shampoo and you've drained that out, and then you go through and do the conditioner and you drain that out, you're probably looking at about 5, 6, 7, maximum 10 minutes. Just depends on how long you're going to keep the conditioner in for, especially because this is your first wash as well. So really, I would say, look to do your first wash roughly about 2 to 3 days after your first installation. Don't leave it too long to do the first wash. If you are not comfortable in doing the first wash yourself, then go to the salon and let the salon do the first wash for you. Okay, so then this is the detangling process. The next thing that you want to do, once you've detangled it and you've put the conditioner on and you've got rid of all the conditioner that's in your hair, is you want to dry. So when you're looking at drying your hair, now I always say the best way to dry is just do a natural dry, just let it air dry. However, not everybody has that luxury of doing that, especially if you're rushing and you're trying to get to work. You don't have time to let your hair air dry. Maybe on a weekend, on a Saturday or something along those lines, that might be an option. If that's not an option and you need to get your hair dry, then there's a couple of things you need to think about. First things first, section your hair. You know, I love talking about sectioning because it's easier for you to work in smaller sections than trying to do everything in one go. So section your hair again in the same manner as I said before. Front to back, short hair, so you've got 2 sections, and 4 sections if you've got longer hair. Some people do actually 8 sections, but it's not a necessity, it's not a requirement, because 4 sections is easy enough for you to work with. Once you've sectioned your hair, section by section, you put a protection on it. So make sure that you've got some sort of a thermal protection, because you're going to be using heat to blow dry your hair. If you are not blow drying it and you're leaving it to dry naturally, then again, you can put something like argan oil or something along those lines that will just help to bring up the shine. I always say if you're putting anything like some sort of an oil on, put it when the hair is wet as opposed to when the hair is dry, so that it can soak in across from root to tip evenly, as opposed to when it's dry, where actually you'll get it on your hand and you might end up just making one section of your hair oily and the rest not. So in this instance, I'm talking about you using a blow dry. So make sure you protect your hair, protect the section. You don't need to put that much product on it. Blow dry your hair and then style. So do that again in all the other sections. Section it, protect, blow dry, and then style, and then you are literally good to go. And you know, it will work depending on what style you have, whether you have got straight hair, a little bit of a wavy hair, or you're going to put natural curls in, then the world is your oyster. UltraStrands can take all of those. So just bear in mind that when you are doing it, that you are using heat, and I wouldn't advocate using heat all the time. You know, so if you are putting curls in, you should be able to put curls in probably once a week or twice a week, and that should be sufficient. Don't be putting curls in every single day. Also, remember, you're working with your own hair as well. So what you don't want to be doing is putting, is constantly putting heat on your own hair as well as the hair of the volumizer, which is why I always say, make sure you try as much as possible to go with a texture that is more similar to your own hair. There's no point if you've got curly hair going with a volumizer that is straight, or if you have got straight hair going with a volumizer that is curly, thinking that I'm going to curl my hair every single day. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? I hope you've got that message. One thing that I will say is the 2-week checkup. The 2-week checkup is one of the most important things you should go to once you've had UltraStrand installed. I would not say it is an option. I would say it's a necessity. Do not take it for granted. Do not think, oh, my hair is fine, I'm okay, I don't need to attend it. Even if you're having the greatest time with UltraStrands, I will still say go for the 2-week checkup. The importance of the 2-week checkup is a couple of things. First of all, it allows the hairdresser to check your hair to make sure that you're maintaining it in the best manner of the way. It also gives you an opportunity to have a free resecure as well. So from that point of view, if there's anything that's come loose, then the hairdresser, the clinic can check your hair and then tighten anything that needs to be tightened. And thirdly, it gives the hairdresser and yourself an idea of the type of maintenance you're going to require. There may be some scenarios where it's just the bog standard, out of the box maintenance that you're going to be having every 4 to 6 weeks. But for some scenarios, it might be that you need something a little bit more bespoke. And the 2-week checkup is the point in which a hairdresser will be able to determine what that should be. What you don't want to do is wait 4 weeks and then go in for your first maintenance checkup, because there might be something that has gone wrong that could have been prevented in the first 2 weeks. So I would always urge you, if you were not planning on doing it, and if you've had UltraStrands installed and you have not contacted your clinic or your salon for your 2-week checkup, I think it's time for you to pick up the phone and do that right away. The other thing that I would say is that from the time when you've had UltraStrands installed up until that 2-week period, if you have an issue, whatever the issue is, if you just don't feel comfortable with something, if you're finding it difficult to sleep at night, do not suffer in silence. Honestly, pick up the phone, contact your stylist. They are not waiting for your call, because it's not like they're expecting you to have an issue, but you will be their priority, because they know that they've installed the volumizer. Especially if you're new to hair volumizing solutions, they know that you're new to hair volumizing solutions, and they want to make sure that you have a smooth ride. So for whatever reason, if you feel like uncomfortable, if you're not sure how to style it, or even if you've washed your hair yourself and you're thinking, I've done something that I shouldn't have done, pick up the phone. Do not be afraid. They will be ready to hear whatever it is you have to say, and they'll be ready to help you. But that 2-week checkup, it is included as part of the whole UltraStrand process. That 2-week checkup is important. If for whatever reason you've missed a 2-week checkup, not a problem. Just pick up the phone, contact your salon and ask to get booked in for your 2-week checkup. It is important. Do not take it for granted, because this is going to help you ensure that you do not have, as much as possible, a hair emergency. We know that there's some things in life that you just cannot avoid, and it may well be that you do every single thing by the book, as I'm saying to you, and something goes wrong. In that scenario, at least you've done everything that you're supposed to have done. Because the very first thing that's going to be asked, if you have a situation and you come, say, 4 weeks down the line, and you're suddenly walking into the salon, you're going, oh, my hair is an absolute nightmare. And that picture of that woman at the first slide, you've got a hair like that and you're walking through, the very first thing they're going to say to you is, well, how come you did not come to us? And unfortunately, we don't want to be in a situation where it's too late for a resolution. This is why I say prevention is way, 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 way better than cure. I know that there's some times when actually it is just the cure that we can do, and that's a topic that we're going to be focusing on next week. But today we're trying to make sure that you give your volumizer the best possible start in life. And that means looking after it the way in which you would look after your own hair. It's that simple. Following the steps that I've just explained to you, and making sure that you keep in touch with your salon, making sure that you do go for the 2-week checkup, and making sure that if there, for any reason, you don't feel comfortable about anything, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. If you've got a question, for instance, and you don't feel comfortable speaking to your salon, or for whatever reason you've got a question, post it in this group. Say, hey Clara, I've got a question. I've just had UltraStrands installed and I've got a question about it. Can you help me? And I will definitely help you. And we've got technicians that are in this group as well. So even if I don't help you, just ask a question to a technician. Go #technician. Can you help me? And then we will provide you with answers. So this is about not having to be on your own in whatever the scenario is. The minute you have got UltraStrands installed, you are part of us. You are part of our group, and we are wanting to ensure that you have the best experience with the product, with the solution. We know ultimately that it may well be that it's not the right solution for you. That's an option. It could well be that you come to that conclusion. But whilst you are still believing that UltraStrands will work for you and UltraStrands is the product for you, then we want to help you to make sure that you maintain it in the best possible way. And even if you do come to the decision that UltraStrand is not the best option for you, we still want to be able to help you to move forward into what that next logical step is going to be. So that has been everything that I want to talk about in this week's version of Hair Mergency, where it's all about the protection. Protection is way better than cure. Follow my steps. Don't forget the brushing. Brush, 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 brush. Don't forget the sectioning. Section, 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 section. And don't forget the 2-week checkup. Don't forget the 2-week checkup. Those things are really important. Make sure that you have a comfortable ride with UltraStrands, because you know what? We're here to make a difference in your world so that you can make a difference in your own world as well, and the world around you, because you are in our world and we are in your world, and I'm just here to make a difference to you. If you've got any questions, then just put the questions in the comments, in the Facebook comments, and I will post also in the comment section the version of how to brush your hair, and I'll also post in the different types of brushes that you can use. Your salon should be able to recommend which brushes are good for you anyway, but in the event that that hasn't happened for whatever reason, then just look at those 2 videos. And also the salon should provide you with which products are best to use on your UltraStrands as well. But if you have not got that, next week we will be talking about products as well, and we'll be taking you through different kind of cheat options that you can do whilst you are waiting for your 2-week or even 4-week maintenance visit. So hope that has helped somebody in this group, and you know what, take care, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Till next week, bye bye.